What's going on, everybody? Emil here from Bullet Motorsports, and today we have an awesome 1954 Chevy Belair Custom. It's got 3,600 miles in the build. It's got a GM Crate 350 under the hood that makes 330 horsepower, matted to a 700 R4 for some sweet highway cruising. It's got AccuAir E-Level air suspension all the way around, and it's finished in root beer metallic. If this is something you want to add to your garage, click the link below. And as always, like and subscribe so we can keep putting my face on the screen. Let's get started. Let's get started with the exterior. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. This thing is almost 70 years old and it looks phenomenal. That root beer metallic paint really makes everything look so good. Body lines, panels, and gobs, all where they're supposed to be. The paint does have a little bit of fishelling, a little bit of swirling in some spots. Nothing a little weekend polish wouldn't take care of. It has American Racing 18-inch wheels with white wall tires and the yellow stripe, 235/45s all the way around with about 90% tread left on them. This thing has AccuAir E-Level, which allows you to manipulate the ride height. You want to go high, you want to go low, you want to stay mid. Anything that you need to do to make sure your baby's taken care of and that she fits everywhere, AccuAir's got you covered. And we're going to go ahead and display that right now. Jumping right into the interior, they match the color of the dash to the exterior. So it's the same root beer metallic and it looks awesome. It matches the entire cabin of the car. The Chevy logo shines brightly. I'm gonna tell you something, there's no glove box. Why, you may ask? Because it has vintage air and all the cooling components need to go back there. It also is complemented with custom gauge MSD automatic ignition, wooden steering wheel, and a nice billet aluminum shifter that controls a 700 R4 automatic transmission, which makes cruising in this thing sweet. And while you're cruising, you're sitting in these gorgeous full saddle brown leather seats. You got dark brown on the exteriors, lighter brown on the interiors with accents to match the rest of the car. And then if you look up, you have a custom brown Alcantara headliner. This thing is sweet and it looks like no expense was spared. Down here's your AccuAir E-Level where you can control everything and get everything going. And finished off with some sweet aluminum pedals. Coming over to the passenger side, everything is just as prim and proper as the driver's side. Body panels, lines, gaps, everything matches up how it's supposed to. Paint shines exactly like it does on the other side. I mentioned previously, this does have AccuAir E-Level, meaning it has automatic height sensors, so it will go adjusting the height while you're driving to make sure it's in the parameters that you set. I did raise the car to drive height, so you can see what it rides like when it drives around. I'll step out of frame so you can get a good look at it. And while I'm out of frame, let's just admire the body lines. Let me tell you something, for being almost 70 years old, they did an amazing job in the designing cues of this car. It looks so good. And the previous owner did a phenomenal job, from the color choice to the suspension to the wheels, even to what's under the hood, which is a GM 350 crate motor. Let's go talk about that now. Looking under the hood, you would think it's gotta be nuts under there too, and you'd be right. It's got a GM 350 high output crate engine that produces 330 horsepower, and it's matted to a 700 R4 automatic transmission I keep raving about because it's awesome and it makes cruising a dream. They've color matched the engine bay to the exterior of their vehicle, and they've also tucked everything away so it looks impressively clean down here. The only things you see are the custom aluminum radiator setup, aluminum serpentine belt setup, the aluminum heads, MSD atomic ignition, Edelbrock intake manifold, custom headers, and of course, if you peek down there, you can see that K-member to make the suspension components fit just right. I'm excited to drive this thing, and I know last time I said I was gonna drive it, and I didn't, but this time I am, and we're gonna make it look good. Before we hit the road, do me a favor, like and subscribe below because I love putting my face on the screen. Also, click the link below for a full gallery including underside shots, service records, and a full list of modifications done to this specific vehicle. So without further ado, let's get driving. So we're taking the car out on 84, just so you guys can see how it behaves out in the wild. And you know, going under the bridge like we always do, you really get to see how the car leans through the turns. The AccuAir E-Level does a great job of keeping everything level like it's supposed to. You hear the compressor and the shocks adjusting as you go to keep everything riding great. So being the videographer, normally I'm on the other side of the camera, but this is one of my favorite shots. It's really wide. You get to really see the car, how gorgeous it is. You get all that beautiful blue in the background, that sunny South Florida in the background. And getting back to the car, it drives great. Drives straight, brakes straight, and the E-Level just keeps everything riding so good. Now that we're outside, you really get to see this dash in the sun, and the color match that they did was absolutely wonderful. It looks so good in the sun, the metallic flakes really showing through. And then to continue on, the drive has just been great so far. The 700 R4 makes cruising a breeze, no abrupt shifts, no aggressive shifts. They're not all out of whack like modern automatics are. This thing is just smooth cruising all the way. We're going over the bridge. You see how it reacts over some of the bumps here, bigger bump there, and the suspension is just keeping everything so good. The GM Crate 350 sounds bonkers, and let me tell you, it was a perfect choice for this. Power delivery is easy and smooth, and let me tell you something, they couldn't have done a better job with this. It's just such a well put together build. They really took their time on it. It was just meticulously put together. This interior is just freaking gorgeous. We're getting thumbs up from people as I'm driving. Normally would have made a right back there to go over some bumps and finish off the test drive, but I want to take you guys over the Marina Mount Bridge so you can really see it over the bridge by itself with a beautiful blue sky in the background and really get to enjoy how gorgeous this thing is. We're sitting at a light and the vintage air is going. I'm chilling. It's 147,000 degrees in South Florida today, but in here it's great. I got the windows down because I do like a little bit of fresh air on my bald head, but everything is great. Oil pressure, temperature, voltage, everything is where it's supposed to be. The car just drives phenomenal. And I can't keep praising it because it's gonna sound like I'm just trying to sell it, but we're not just trying to sell it. I'm trying to tell you guys how good this thing is. And it looks so good on the outside. If this is something you want to put in your garage, give us a call, 954-363-2261. Click the link below for a full gallery, including underside shots and shipping options. So we whipped it back around. We're gonna go back over 95 and you're gonna see it go under this bridge. You're gonna see Fort Lauderdale in the background and it's gonna look gorgeous. And you're gonna get some more shots of this car just outside in the sun, reflecting this beautiful root beer metallic paint. The good thing about having accurate E-level is that as you're driving, if things get a little bit out of whack, it puts it back where it needs to be. The E-level does a very good job with the automatic height sensors of making sure everything is level and comfortable. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a left up here and finish off our test drive, going over the bumps like we always do, so you can see how the car reacts over bumps on the outside versus the inside. And let me tell you something, I have not had a better time with any of the cars we've driven, especially considering this thing is so old. It just feels so damn good. So we're making a left up here. We're gonna go over the usual bumps so you can see how the car reacts to the bumps from the outside versus the inside. And let me tell you something, this E-level just does such a good job of keeping things kosher. It's awesome. Here comes the first set of bumps. No big deal. Here's the second set. Nothing to report. It just drives so good. All right, guys. That's my time. We're gonna go over here, get you some nice outside shots so you can really see it in the sun. If this is something you wanna put in your garage, 954-363-2261. Click the link below. And of course, like and subscribe so I can keep putting my face on the screen. See you guys later.